Guys, welcome to today's tutorials. I want to take you through KCSE 2024 paper 2 computer study. I want to take you through question number 1, that it was about databases. The question read, McQueen College of Design intends to use database to manage fee payments from its students. You've been tasked to create a database for the college. You open a database program and create a database file named McQueen. This is one of the mistakes that students make and lose a mark. This is 1 mark, but it's very important. If you lose this 1 mark, you get 49. And remember some other small details you might miss. And this mark is usually lost for a very simple mistake. If it is capital M, it has to be capital M. If you write small m, you are wrong. So that means you lose that mark. So those are some of the things that you need to be very keen on. And if you miss them, the details that you are required, you just lose marks, not because you don't know, but because of negligence and ignorance. Part B is that, and always make sure you read through the question, the all of it, so that you program your mind on how you are going to, the flow of the question. If you don't go through that, sometimes you might find that there's something that is asked down there and you're supposed to have done it earlier. So it is always good to do what? To go through the full question before you start doing it. So you have been provided with the following data in tables to be entered in the database, studied and answered the questions that follow. So there was course table, and the course table had the course ID, the course name, and the fee. When you look at this, you can have this as the primary key, the course ID. Then we also had the tutor table. When you look at the tutor table, it has course ID. I mean, it has tutor ID, tutor name, the office, and the course ID. So the course ID is appearing in the two tables. So that means they are linked together. These two tables are together by use of the course ID, because the course ID in this case is a foreign key in this table. It's a foreign key in this table. You know, foreign key, it is a key that is a primary key in one table, and also that is not, in this case, it's not a primary key in the second table. So it is a foreign key because it was a foreign in the previous table. So we shall link from the course to what? To the tutor, because the tutor teaches a course. A tutor must teach a course, so the course should be linked to the tutor. From the course, you drag from the course ID of the course, the course ID of the tutor. So that is how you create that relationship and ensure you reference the integrity. Reference integrity should be ticked. Then next is trainee table. Trainee table, it also has the trainee ID, trainee name, and the course ID. And also these two tables, they need to be linked by the course ID, which is a primary key, and also a course ID, which is a foreign key in this case, and the trainee ID becomes the primary key. And from the course, you also drop to the what? The trainee. From the course to the trainee. Then that is how you are going to link. So the next is the fee payment table. In fee payment table, when you look at it, there is something we learned about a composite key. A composite key, when I make two primary keys I make two primary keys in one table, that is a composite key. That is, if I made this and this, they look the same. I mean, there are two fields that I can make them primary keys in one table, then that's a composite key in that table. But we cannot have a composite key in this case. The reason there is duplicate, like TR4. This student ID, that is a trainee ID, and the same trainee ID is repeated. So almost all of them are repeated, meaning they paid money in different times. The same with the course ID. So if they are repeated, then you cannot use them as primary keys, because they cause duplicates and referential integrity issues will arise. When you also check here, because there is a relationship I'm going to create, The C05 course ID is not anywhere here. So this was an error in this year. The Camila made an error in that because this ought to have been even C03 because it's not appearing here. So this ought to have been C03 and not C05 because it will cause referential integrity issues when you do relationships. So this one will not use C05, we shall use C03 instead. We shall use C03 instead. So now we go straight into doing the questions because from there you have been asked that you create the table, then set primary keys, field, those are 10 free marks, then create appropriate relationship, 4 free marks, then create a form named trainee form, 4 free marks, enter the data into the respective table, 10 free marks. Then the queries. These queries, if you didn't know how to do it, like this one is trainee query, this is just from one table and from the table of trainees. Trainee, no, this from the two tables. Because of the relationship, you are able to now create from the trainee table and from the course table so that you can have all the trainees and the course they are taking. So those were 2 free marks. And then display the course name and the fee for the course whose ID is 02. This one was specifically from the course table only, 3 marks. Then under criteria, you put C02. It will display only that student of the amount of 3,000. Then that means it was to display C02 on course. C02 is 3,000. The letter design, the letter design course, 3,000. So that is what it was supposed to display. Then from there is compute the total amount. This was 6 marks. Total amount of the fee paid by each trainee. So that means you use the trainee table and the fee payment table. From there, you shall have used sum so that it is able to sum like if you are using trainee ID one should be able to total amount of 3,400 should be able to show 3,400. That is what it is required you to do. Then from there, you enter those data into the table. From there, you create a report. So it tells you that this report will be based. That's why I said you read everything before you do. This report will be based on this query. So make sure this query you include trainee ID, trainee name, and total amount, because this report will be based on this. And then you order it, you sort it. Then you have the report having the title of that and also the footer of this. Simple as that, then from there you print. So we go straight now into the question. We can now go straight into the question, but it's good that I minimize this because I'll be able to use it as I do the questions. Good, as I handle my questions, I'll be able to use it. Then I go straight into here. I go to blank database. I give the name that I've been told, McQueen. If you miss it, after you create McQueen, do you want to replace the existing? Yes, I am replacing it. So you cross this one. You go to create table design. Let me minimize this so that you are able to follow whatever is here. So when you look here, I'll have course ID, course name, and the fee. Course ID, exactly the way it is. You have to write exactly the way it is. C is capital, course ID, ID is that way, course ID. That one you can use short text, and then you also have course name. Course name. The course name is also short text. You can also have fee here. Fee, you can use currency. You can change the currency into Kenyan shillings. If I use currency here, then you come to format and try to check. You'll not find if Kenyan shillings is not here. You can easily decide to go to the control panel. You can easily decide to go to the control panel. If I write control panel here, so that I get the control panel, I go to regions, I go to clocks and different time zones, number formats. this is an regions. So I can go to currency. If I go to additional settings, I'll be able to find currency here. I introduced Kenyan shillings if it's not there. It is not there, so I can easily introduce it. I can easily introduce it. Currency symbol. I can have KSH. If I have that, I introduce it there, and then I do what? It said to restore the system. No, I apply. If I apply that, I'll be able now to find, if I cross, I go back to, if I wanted it to be that way, but of course in this question, you are not restricted. You are not told which currency to use. You could have decided to, if I refresh this, okay, I refresh. First of all, let me have this primary key and then control S, I call it course. I call it course. So because you were not told, even if you left it as a number, still that is okay. If I did the fee as a number, it is still okay. But because, of course, I'm dealing with money, is good. Okay, it has not affected because I have to refresh. Let me just open it. Sorry. I ought not to have closed everything. It's okay. I can still get my access. I crossed everything instead of crossing the what. I was dealing with this one. The course is the first one. I right click. I want to design fee again. If I check now currency, I think it should now appear the format. I should be able to find, yes, I found KS. It is now currently there. So that is it, and then control S. I create the next table, create. It's about tutor table, table design. The tutor table has tutor ID. It's always good to write the way it is. Tutor ID, then tutor name, then next is tutor name, then we have office, then we have course ID, then all these would be text, all of them would be short text. Then in this case, I use tutor ID as primary key, like we agreed. Tutor ID becomes primary key, and then this is control S. I call it tutor get. You click OK, then that is saved. Then I go to the next one. I create also again a table. Create table design. It's called trainee table with trainee ID. Trainee ID. Next is trainee ID, trainee name. Next is course ID. Next is course ID. Then trainee ID becomes a primary key for this one. Then that is control S. It's called trainee table. Finally, we have fee payment table. The fee payment table will not have any primary key. Create a table design. So we have a trainee ID. We have course ID, and finally amount paid. This one we said is currency. You just pick currency. And then you change here to the currency that you want. You want this one, and then from there is no primary key. Control S. It's called fee payment. The way it is here, just save as it is. It's written as fee payment. You have to save the way it is. fee payment. That is how it's written. You click OK. Then no, I'm not having. Do you want to create a primary key now? No, because I don't want in that table to have a primary key. Then you are good to go. From there, you will create the relationships. We create the relationships. So you go to external, database tools. Then from there, relationships. I want the relationship for all the tables. Like I said, this one I can move them this way so that I have from the course ID, the tutor, you start with course to tutor, course ID to tutor, and I use course ID to course ID in the tutor. Then I referential integrity create. So that means when I'm going to fill, I'll have to fill the course table first before I fill tutor. So that next is course to trainer, meaning course is very important. Everything course to trainer. So course to trainer. Then course to trainer ID. That is, I think I've used course ID and the course ID, yes, in the trainee. I create. Then from there, trainee and the payment. You can also have trainee and the payment. So meaning payment will be my last table to give. Trainee and the payment. So from trainee, we have trainee and the payment. We deal with trainee ID and the trainee ID in the payment. So trainee ID from here to trainee ID in the payment. And then I can enforce that. I create. And then from there, I also need the cost to fee, from the cost to fee payment, course ID to course ID in the fees payment. Course ID here, also enforce, I create. So after I've created all this, so this one tells you that I'm going to fill this table in this format. I start with the course because almost several tables depend on the course. Then from there I do the tutor, I do the trainee, and I finally do the payment. If you start with payment, it will have some issues. You will not have it right. So the next thing I'm going to fill the tables. I'm going to control S, I save, and then I close. I fill the tables. I can start with the table that I said is the course table that I start with. I'll do professional photography. That is C01. C01. It's called professional photography. It is professional photography. Professional photography. Good. Next is C02. It is later design. So the amount was 4,500 here. Was 4,500. Next is 3,000. Next is C03. Is called footwear design. And the amount is 2,500. Next was C04. C04 it's called jewelry design, and the amount is 2,000. So that is it. Control S. The table is filled. We now fill tutor table, and tutor table should have If you don't follow the order because of the linkages that you have done, the relationship will give you some errors. You'll find several issues of referential integrity. So always follow the order because you've done the relationship. Just know which table depends on the other. Yes, then the next thing I've said is tutor ID. Then tutor table, we have tut. We have tut1. Let me copy this because I'll be using it. Control C, then tut1, it has Kwame. Kwame, office is 1037. Then the course ID is C01. Next is Control V, is tut2, is called Amina. Amina is Amina has 10 what? Amina has 1043, 1043, and C02. That is Amina. Next is Control V, 3 is Gigioke. Good, Gigioke, 2715, 2715, 2715, and it is C04. C04. Next is 4 here. Is called Fatima. 4872, 4872. This one will not use C05 because it will create C05. If you enter, it will create reference. You can see that. So that was the error they did. I can change this to 3 because it has not been used. That is okay. Then it will be okay with it. Then from there, I've done the training. I've done the go to trainee before I go to the last one. Trainee, I have TR1. I can again copy this one. T1 trainee name is Baraka. Then course ID, it is C01. I go to the next. Train 2 is Aisha. Aisha, it is C03. Next is Aisha is C03, yes. Next is Lulendo. Lulendo. Lulendo is C02. Next is Zahara. Zahara. Zahara is C04. Zahara is C04. C04. Good. Then from there, I finish with the fee payments. Fee payments, it is supposed to be having TR, we start with TR4, train number 4, trainer number 4 there. So this one is C04, and the amount he has paid so far is 300. Go to the next 3, C03, and the amount he has paid so far is 400. Yeah, you go to TR4 now. Again, TR4, and the amount as that is C04, and the amount has paid for the second time. He has paid now 500. You go to next. Um, Next is 2. Yes, C02. The amount paid now is 900. Next is again 2. Course ID 2. The first 2 course IDs. No. I think I've done a mistake here. Is 2 as per the question. That is 4, 2, 4. Then this is 3. 2 but 3. Good. Course ID is 3. Again, course ID for the same is C03. So you can make those assumptions which will cost you. Like that was an assumption I almost made. It's 1,200 now. Next is tier 3. 3. I cannot make assumption that this is C03. No, this is C02. C02. So C02, then 1,600. 1,600. Next is 1. C01. 1,700. 1. C01. 1,700. So Control S. All the tables are filled. Then from there, you go through the questions. The second, so we have done this. We have created the table with primary keys. We have created relationships. We have got all those marks. Then this one is what I'll create. I've done this one, entering data, 10 marks for free. Then this one, you create now the form for trainee form specific. So you just click on trainee table. Then you go to create, you click on form. Create, don't just struggle because you are after marks. Just click form. It will create for you automatically. Like you can see, it has appeared here automatically. Then you try to adjust in design view. You adjust so that you have what you've been told here. You've been told to have, um, you've been told to have in that form an heading of font size 15 and boldface. Of course, any font type. Then you do addition and deletion of records under record operations. Then I think and you call the trainees form. It's called trainees form. Trainees form. So I need to have it as trainees form. I need to change this title to trainees form. Trainees form the way it is. I can have it as no. It was just a one word trainees form. I can have it as bold. You go to home. You make it bold. You can make it center, no harm. Then size 15. You've been told size 15. Of course, not any, even size 15 is not here. So you type size 15. You press enter. So it is size of 15 because it will be typed. You make that mistake that it's not appearing there. You meet, but this one you were not told any. Even if you used any, it is allowed. Even if you used any, it is allowed. Then from there, let me I press control so that I'm able to move. I'm able to move them just using this arrow. Make sure after I write all of them, I use this arrow just to make them smarter. Then I need to have now those ones that I've been told. I go to form layout design. I go to pattern. Then you click and place the pattern there. Under record operation, that's where you add a record, you go to next, you go to use text, add record, next, so that I finish. So it has created there, then I need to create another for deletion here. For deletion here, you can see the records also already appearing there. So I need to do for deletion. Again, I add record, I come there, I record operation, delete records, I go to next. I use text, I go to next. I finish. So that is done. Control S. Control S and call it trainees form. Trainees form. That is how I'm asked to call it, trainees form. I click OK. Even if I close, so if you open it, you'll be able to see it is there. So if I wanted to delete this record, I can delete. I can add a record. Let me add and delete so that you see. I can add anything there. I can add anything there. I can add anything there. And then if I delete, it will disappear. Great. So that is what is required to do the patterns to do. Then you go to the next question. Let me minimize here so that I'm able to read the questions. So this one, you did font 15 and also I did the boldface. That is okay. I added whatever is required, the 4 marks I've scored them. So you go to the next, enter the data with respect to table. We have done create now queries. We go to the query that we are creating called trainee query. And this trainee query should be showing the trainees and the name of the course they do. Trainees and the name of the course they do. So I go to create, I go to query design. Then I pick a course table and the trainee table because I'm interested with. The interest here is the trainee name and the course they do. But if you wanted, you can include the course ID, but they are not required. So what you've been asked to display is the trainee name and the course name. And the trainee, no, I could have started with Control Z. I could have started with trainee name, and then from there, the course name. The order, you start with the order you want, you start with whatever you want, how do you want to appear. So that is what I'm required to do from the two tables, just like that. That is what I was required, nothing more, because list all trainees and the name of the course they are enrolled in. Save the query as trainee query. So I just Control S, I call it trainee query. Trainee query. You save as exactly as it is given here. It is given trainees query. That is, if you miss the S, you will miss a mark. Trainees query. So I'm done. I go to next, I do what? I create another query, create query design. Query design, I've been told that to display the course name and the fee for the course whose ID is that. So, and the fee for the course whose ID is specific CO2. So, no, sorry. So I'm only using the course because I need the course name and the and the fee. Those are the ones that will be. So I start with the course name and the fee. Those are the only things to display. But I need to use this one. So because I need to use this one, I will untick. That means it will not display because I don't need it to be displayed. But I use it as criteria here to have C02. So that means it will only display the one, the 3000, the only one that is required here. Then I call it what? Control S. I've been asked to call it C02. If you look at there, C02. That is how I've been asked to save it. So if I run, you can run from this point, okay? If I run all these, the two queries, for instance, this one, if I run it, you see it's showing only the one that is required. This trainee, it's showing the name and the course. That is what is required. Then the next question is another query to compute the total amount of money paid by each trainee. Then you save the query as trainee total query. Trainee total query. So you create again query design. Query design use tables. I'm using tables and I need I need compute the total amount paid by each trainee. But I said trainee ID will be required, trainee name will be required, and the total amount. So I need the fee payment. I need the trainee and the fee payment. Because from here I will need trainee ID, I will need trainee name because and the total amount and the amount paid from here. So in the amount paid, that is okay. Those are the only things I need. I need to do this sum totals. I need to find the totals so that I group this by what? Under group by under total, you just pick sum so that it does the sum. Like if it is training number one, it has to add 1700 plus 1700 because he paid twice at 400. That will be the total amount. So that is what you are required, and then you control S, you call it training total query. Training total query. You call it training total query. Exactly how it is saved. That is how you need to save it. So if you run it, training total query, if you run it, you'll be able to see. It was able to do when you open the table here, when you open the table for fee payment, like a trainee, it has the two of them, but it has combined now. You've combined the two. You've combined the two to give you that 400 to get the sum. So that is what you are required to do for that question. And then the next question is based on that query that you do a what? A report. Create a report to summarize the fee made by each trainee. So the report will be based on that query. So I go to create. You can, instead of going to create and all that, is a long story. The best thing is just click on this query that you want to base on. Then you click on create. Of course, we are talking about a report. You select the report there. So it has created for me the report. So it's easier because I've not been told the kind of report to create. So it is easier this way. And then you've been asked to order the report. To order the report, trainee and total amount paid by each trainee. Then order the report in what? Records by the total amount and the fee payment. We call it the report as fee payment. Then because you've been asked to sort, so you sort using sum amount paid, the sum of amount paid, and it should be from largest because you've been told order report by the total amount paid from the highest. So from largest to smallest. So if you do that, you are able to see it is largest to smallest. Then from there, let me save it. Control S. I've been asked to call it fee payment. Fee payment. Payment. You write exactly how it is written there, fee payment. So if I open it in design view, so that I make the design view, I make those changes like the total here. I've been asked to have the total as what? As trainee payment. The title as trainee payment. I can have trainee, it's in capital letters, trainee, trainees, payments. You write exactly how it is. Then, of course, you have not been told to bold, but it's always good to bold. So if I go there, I'll be able to bold it. And I can be able to center it even if I've not been told. Then you can even have a color if you really need it, but it's not given. So, and then you've been asked to have the footers prepared by your index number. So the footer, if you look at this, is also good. The sum was not, you can delete if you don't want it, but there's no need because it will not cost you anything. Just leave it there. Sum of amount it gives, but the footer here, under the footer, just have a what? Let me enlarge so that I'm able to report designer. Under report designer, I can click a label here. I put the label there so that I'm able to write what you can have it anywhere. Then it is prepared by, you asked that, prepared by, so I can write the index you asked to give the index. Assume that is my index number. So it will appear that way. You can align them if you really need to make a good alignment. You can just move a bit. You can move it a bit. You can just move a bit. Good. That one is okay. Then Control S. Can do away with it, and then if you open this, you'll be able to see it is it's looking smart prepared by this. So everything that you are required in that question, you have answered correctly. You've answered correctly because that's what the question required. It required that you make all that, and then you order from the largest to the smallest like you've done. Then from there, you print all those things that you have been asked. So that is what the question required. If you look at the form, it is exactly how it is. And then from there, you print everything. Control P. If I check this one, I go to print properties, I'll be able now to print. So, or if I do print preview, if I go to printer, I'll be able to have a print preview and see how it will look like. It looks like nice. This one is not necessary. You can also have a label here behind in design view and write total. So, amount, grand total, you can have it that. If of course you are not asked, then so that is it, and that is what the question required. Thank you for listening, and sure you subscribe to my channel so that you listen to the next tutorial that will be doing 2019 database. Thank you and have a nice time.